Alright, so today we're going to do a viewer request video. I had a guy, a subscriber of mine, want me to do a video because he's buying his first defensive rifle. He's going to use it as a home defense rifle. Now he went with an AR15, but he said he did look at some other guns as well, like AKs. And he wanted to know what my opinion was on just adding stuff to a gun, you know, extra add-ons, features, things like that, that would help make it a better defensive tool, or in his case, home defense tool. So that's what we're going to talk about here today real quick. Now, first and foremost, let's just get this out of the way. The number one mistake I see people make, especially when they're buying their first AR-15 especially, but sometimes AK, sometimes SKS, whatever it is they're going to be using as a defensive rifle, the biggest mistake I see is they just put too much crap on the rifle. And quad rails are the worst of all, because you have a quad rail, you see all this rail space, and it encourages you to fill it up with something. You don't need that much crap on your rifle. You need a few basic things that we're going to talk about here in this video, but please don't put too much crap on your rifle. Just put what you need. I subscribe to the KISS line of thinking. Keep it simple, stupid, period. The less stuff you can have hanging off your rifle, the more maneuverable and lightweight it is, the better off you're going to be in a defensive situation. So let's take a look at a couple of the rifles that I have. Not all of them are set up. In fact, only one of them is, and that's this one right here. And this is kind of my go-to AR-15. I've got a light, I've got an optic, I've got a mag coupler on here, so I have 30 extra rounds of ammo on the gun. I've got a sling on here, a couple extra things that I have on this rifle that I don't need, that I probably should take off. I've got a little badger latch type of thing, a little extended latch here, and I've got a bad lever. Neither of which I actually really use. I don't need to use them. I could easily take them off. So even though some people would look at this and go, oh, that's a pretty simple rifle, to me, it has actually too much stuff on it. Okay, but it does have the necessary things: light, optic, extra ammo, sling. And actually this sling I'm probably going to trade out for a 2-point sling, but we'll see about that. But either way, it does have a sling on it. So there's my kind of go-to setup. I've had this rifle since, I believe, late 2011 or early 2012, and you know, it's gone through many iterations, but it's been a good solid rifle, primarily with a lot of this stuff set up the way it is. So let's look at something completely different. This is one of my AK-47s. This is an AMD63, very, very simple setup with a sling. Could you use this as a home defense gun just as is? Sure, you could. Would I use this as a home defense gun as is? No, not me personally. Yes, it has a sling on it. That's great. Check number one. But it doesn't have an optic, it doesn't have a light, and it doesn't have extra ammunition. I would put a light on here, I would get an Ultimac rail, put at least a Bushnell TRS, something like that on here, and I would get a mag coupler for an extra magazine on this particular gun. When it comes to optics, they're so useful, especially in a defensive situation when you don't know what you're going to be faced up against. It is such an advantage over iron sights, more so with an AK than with an AR, but in both platforms it is a huge advantage. There's a reason why everybody puts red dots on their guns, because it's much better, it's far superior, especially in a defensive situation, than just standard iron sights. So this could be a very good defensive firearm with just a couple of tweaks. Now let's look at something else I've got here as we knock stuff around. This right here, this is to me a little bit of a step up from that AK as far as how it's set up. It doesn't have an optic and it doesn't have a light, which I would want to add to it, but it does have a sling and it does have a mag pouch on here. It's got extra ammo, so I can hold extra ammo on here. I've got 30 extra rounds ready to go. So it's got 2 of the 4 things I would want on a particular setup like this. And then of course there's always something small and simple like this, a little AR pistol, or it could be an AK pistol. This one I've got set up with flip up rear and front sights, just as backups. Got a Bushnell TRS 25 on here. Love this optic. It doesn't have a light on here, but it does have a 40 round mag, which I'd be comfortable with in place of a mag coupler with an extra, an extra mag on it. Now this is a pistol, so you don't really need a sling or anything like that. But if I added a light to this, I'd feel pretty comfortable using this as a little home defense tool. As it sits now, I use this as a vehicle gun. But that's kind of the basics there, guys. I mean, really, to me, it's very simple. You want some sort of sling because in a bad situation, you don't want to put your gun down. You want to keep it close to your body somewhere. So you want a sling. You want extra ammunition, right? You want a good optic that's going to give you an advantage over iron sights. And then, because you never know when something's going to happen, you do want a flashlight, because if it's dark, when shit goes down, you want to be able to see what's going on. So that's pretty much it. Extra ammo, sling, scope, or optic of some sort, and of course a light. So that's pretty much how to get a good setup on a defensive rifle, to have the basics of what you need and nothing that you don't. So hopefully it was informative to somebody out there. I appreciate you guys watching. You got any questions, comments, leave that stuff down below, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks.